The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Boom, bam, Rick Dhaliwal tweeting out, and this is a report, nothing confirmed, but this Connor Garland contract, the extension that we talked about earlier, it's going to come in at 6 years at $6 million per. The Loui Eriksson contract, he's getting it done because size doesn't matter, and that's why today's episode is brought to you.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Boom, bam. It just happened. Kind of, sort of, not really. But again, Connor Garland possibly getting an extension ASAP, 6 years, $36 million. The Loui Eriksson special. My name Kyle Bowen. This right here is Locked On Canucks. One love to the Dodos Art Lab for taking care of that West Coast bias. And Connor Garland, a forever Vancouverite to some extent. Right? If he's here for the next 7 years. That's a long time. That's a lot of Connor Garland. The contract that he signed with Benning about to run out in 13 months. They're getting ahead of it. And they're paying him before they ever paid Brock Boeser this season. That's something. That's telling. Again, Connor Garland gets paid way before Brock Boeser. Brock Boeser, UFA very, very soon. And I got a lot to say about this. Okay, some people online talking about, again, the Loui Eriksson special. Some people upset. Some people don't get the length. Some people don't get the money. Some people don't get the fact that this team is signing all of Quinn Hughes' favorite players. Right? Oh, is Quinn Hughes running this team? I don't obviously agree with that. It's not happening. But hey, let's say that theory is true. Why, again, isn't Brock Boeser getting signed? You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't think this is a Quinn Hughes initiative. I just think this is Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford knowing that obviously they can get Garland for cheaper, and B, more notably, Garland's the more important player. Right? He's a player you need more to win than Brock Boeser at his, complete contract value. Right? The math is telling them that, at this price, Garland is way more effective, and he's getting you closer to extending Quinn Hughes, a.k.a. Being a contender. And, man, this guy hasn't put up 60 points ever, if I'm correct. And he's chosen before Brock Boeser. Now, obviously, and I want the comments to go off here, okay? Who would you rather have on your team, on a winning team, okay? Take away the whole Canucks thing, okay? Is it Brock Boeser at his best or Connor Garland at his best? That's the best way to get through the episode today, okay? With a lot of banter. Who would you rather have? And I know you want me to answer that question too, and I'm going to do it right now. I want Connor Garland. Why? Because this dude sounds crazy, I know, because one's Boeser and one's Garland. And Boeser was so damn good in the playoffs last year. But, Connor Garland was pretty good too. A big part of 2 clinical goals, right? And, when we bring up Brock Boeser being so important in the playoffs, we think of the big goals, right? The tying goals. Mr. Clutch. How about Connor Garland being clutch in the playoffs? How about Connor Garland shift in and shift out, not changing, not missing a beat all regular season long? And also, again, he proved it in the playoffs that his motor doesn't stop. It's because he's athletic, he's in shape, he loves the game, he takes his offseason seriously. But more importantly, he just Connor Garland. You're always going to get that effort. You don't need, Brock Boeser-esque quality, and how you get to that quality for you to notice Connor Garland trying to make an impact in the game. Because game in and game out, he's a net positive. A lot of that has to do with the hustle. But, the guy has some skill too. And again, going back to his clutch moments, look at the play he made to Dakota Joshua in game 1 against Nashville, if I'm correct. Look at the play that he made in game 4 to Lindholm. in overtime, right? And look at the play he made in game 1 against the Oilers to beat Stuart Skinner in game 1 after the Canucks made that comeback in the third period. Like clinical plays, high IQ plays, and more importantly, in the playoffs, in the biggest of moments, he actually pulled it off. He was also clutch. Again, Rutherford and Alvin, I don't think they're listening to Quinn Hughes. Oh, you got to sign our guys. And again, if that's the case, why isn't Besser being signed? Like Besser is probably the biggest Hughes guy, or vice versa, right? It's because Alvin and Rutherford, they understand that Garland's good, really good, game in and game out, a good hockey player, not a Loui Eriksson, not somebody that like needs the puck to come to him or find him because he's so smart. He knows how to enter gaps, which again, it's important, but he's not one of those guys. He's just gonna be good no matter where the play is. Now, again, not the perfect player, not the best player defensively, right? That being said, there were moments, right? If my eyesight is right, some penalty killing time on a pretty good penalty kill. All in all, though, he just, again, his imperfections are forgotten about because the hustle, man, the hustle is there, and the value is going to be there. I definitely think for the next 4 years, the next 5 years with them. Yeah, we just saw, again, different echelon of player, but we just saw Corey Perry playing better into his 40s. Look at Brad Marchand, right? A lot of people are scared of Evander Kane getting older and older too. Like, look, these guys, yeah, quote unquote, they're old in the hockey world. They're post 32 years old or 30, or when Garland, hits that age, he's going to be considered old. But just know it's 2025. AI, right? The NBA trying to use AI to fix an Achilles injury. Oh, what I'm trying to say is we're in the future. The diets are different. And also do the searching. These guys don't drink as much. They don't party as much. And to say it in a different way, I feel as if a lot of these guys are on a poor man's Tom Brady diet. Like they take this shit seriously. There's a chance that he could be good in year 6 because if he's athletic and if he's fit at those ages, right? Like you don't think you think the motor's going to stop with Connor Garland? No, it isn't. And speaking of the motor, I actually think he's going to want to do his best to live up to this deal. This guy seems like a pretty prideful dude, appreciative dude, guy who was addicted to the game of hockey. The effort is going to be there. He's going to try his ass off to get to, being worth $6 million. He's not going to let external momentum, external noise, right? He's not going to need to grab onto something else to have him going, right? He's not going to have to find his confidence. The guy is just wired. Look at all the film over the last, what? Is it 300, 400 games of Connor Garland as a Vancouver Canuck? Look at what he did in Arizona. He just doesn't take a minute off. Somewhat of a rare breed. There's value there. Look, Elias Pettersson, right? Mr. 11.6. A big reason why he wasn't able to live up to 11.6. It's even outside the point total, right? We know Elias Pettersson at his best. He actually competes. He's winning board battles, even though he's frail and even though he's getting hit and he's falling down. He's getting up. He's still retrieving the puck. He's got that grit in him, that intangible, that try-hard nature. But yeah, Pettersson wasn't confident, and he wasn't even able to find that part of his game. So much so that, it felt like at only one point this season, we oohed and ahed about his defensive play or about his effort plays, right, against Toronto. In Toronto, right? Selke. Felt like we did that once. And maybe we were looking for the most, and we couldn't notice all the little things he was doing because I know the analytics, back him up and say, it wasn't that bad. But Canucks fans aren't stupid. We also didn't see a lot of effort. The game was boring to him or just discouraging or just sad, and he wasn't able to bring that other intangible outside of the points into his game in and game out. You're not getting that with Connor Garland. He doesn't need points to be a net positive. Anyways, I don't mind it. I'm just not comparing him to Loui Eriksson. Am I a little scared or weirded out by why, again, Demko's about to sign an extension too? I was just listening to Donnie and Dolly, which I'll get to, one of the greatest podcasts of all time. I got to correct myself too again, and give me a couple more minutes. But But I think it was Henderson, right? Talking about how he doesn't get why Demko needs to be signed ASAP. Like, why not wait till American Thanksgiving? Why not prove that he's not going to get injured again after, having to have started 4 of 6 games, right? Why not wait? What's the rush? And I brought this up earlier. Like, what's the rush of signing both Demko and Garland? Like, this team hasn't historically won in recent history. Right? But I guess Rutherford and Alvin want certain guys. Obviously not leaving that room because, it's hard enough to find the skill. But to find that motor, again, Demko has that motor too. Look how hard he works to get back into the lineup no matter what. Risking, like, again, last April and May, what was he doing? You could argue that he was risking his career, quote unquote, to try to get back to play Dallas in round 3. Maybe there was a 1% chance he was going to play game 7, round 2, right? This team maybe doesn't want to get rid of guys that want to be here, but have that DNA in them. That high motor. Again, don't need things to go their way to go into work and absolutely do their best. Was JT Miller one of those guys? Obviously not. Was Pettersson one of those guys last year? Obviously not. But these two guys, again, we all want our money, but something just tells me that they love hockey way more than money. They love being good at hockey way more than money. So this is not the Loui Eriksson thing, okay? We got 3 more minutes, okay? Let's read some comments. Mother Nucker, I don't know if he's joking, but he says we need some more small guys like Garland, right? Dude, I wonder if a 6-year extension to Garland, I wonder what that does to Niels Höglander, right? I always thought that Höglander could learn a lot from Garland. And again, so young, could still do so. But, if Höglander bounces back next season, that's a lot of money in a couple of years going to some quote-unquote undersized wingers, right? How much does the Garland thing connect to possibly now trading for Rossi and signing him for a long time? I don't know. I got to watch more Marco Rossi film. Apparently, he's like Cliff Ronning. So it wouldn't matter too much. But size, man. Hey, what am I saying? Size shouldn't matter, man. Size shouldn't matter. Think about my life. Think about my journey, right? Think about me being a FanDuel. We all watch Mansers, right? Size don't matter. Small matters. Everyone matters. Small sizes matter. All sizes matter. And that's why today's episode is brought to you. Trevor Begg saying the cap inflation deal, Connor, is the anti-Loui, which is the most ironic part of the deal. Again, a lot of people we're scared of the past, and I know I'm balding too. I'm getting closer and closer, right? 32 and a half years old. Tomorrow I'll be 69. The day after that I'll be 78. I know, I understand. But, Trevor just brought up the cap inflation thing. Garland was already making, almost $5 million. We talked about it earlier. Go check out the episode. I was just like, if the extension gets done, I hope that the Canucks can get him for the same deal he signed previously, but with the cap inflation. Like, don't overpay this guy. Don't pay for something you haven't gotten yet. I mean, there's a reason why you extended Garland for that long too back in the day, right? Right when they traded for him, because he was kind of this player for Arizona too. And Trevor brought it up. The only way Garland gets to 60 or 70 points, because I want to know if he can do that. We kind of need him to have chemistry with one of the centers and bring in more offense. There's offense missing on this team. Like, how does he get there? And Trevor connecting everything to Elias Pettersson, right? Right? Everyone just wants Elias Pettersson to fix everything. Jack of all trades. Apparently an elevator mechanic too, right? My elevator's broken. Oh, well, if Elias Pettersson lived up to $11.6 million, maybe I don't know, maybe there'd be more money to go around to people so they could fall in love with engineering and not making TikToks. Where am I going with this? Next comment. Olivia, though, a good comment. 15 to 20 goals for $6 million. Okay. Right? Because effort isn't everything. Work smarter, not harder. How about work harder and smarter? How about Elias Pettersson do something about Connor Garland's goal totals, okay? Come on, man. That all being said, I do want to say Olivia is onto something, okay? That's a little scary. Okay, look at Mike Laval. Spending $15 million for a third line when you don't have a top six is insane. Mike, man. There's a reason why I like the episodes sometimes when you don't comment. Because I read your words and I hear the truth, and I don't want to hear the truth sometimes. I wanna hear the dreams. I want to see my dreams come true. Yeah, the truth is reality, but I want my dreams to become reality, okay? Mike Laval is killing the vibe, yo. I got to get out of here. Blame Mike. Yo, Mike, I love you, but you scared me. Olivia, you scared me too, man. The economy, yo, Elias Pettersson, man. Look at what you did to us. Anyways, my name's Kyle Bowen. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab. Go Canucks, go. And Connor Garland, congratulations. Keep trying hard. Don't be the next Loui Eriksson. And yeah, just keep doing you. All right? Go Canucks, go. Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.